in October, I started seeing the chart of Ethereum versus Bitcoin and looked like it was going to start outperforming, just a chart pattern and a hunch. And then I started digging into, okay, how do you value Bitcoin and Ethereum? So we've had the stock to flow model, but really what it was to me was also a network. And you use something called Metcalfe's law to value a network, which is basically a network has value proportionate to the number of people on the network and the number of interconnections they have with each other. Mm-hmm. So I could see that in Bitcoin, and you could pretty much prove it out by putting like number of active wallet addresses and the price of Bitcoin on a chart, and you basically get a very high correlated answer. And I could see people attacking anybody who talked about Ethereum or other tokens online. So I'm like, I need to find out how you price Ethereum, because I have a feeling it's exactly the same as Bitcoin. And what was interesting is I used the same mechanism and it's priced exactly the same way. But what was more surprising is the adoption of Ethereum was much faster than that of Bitcoin at the same stage. So I'm like, wow. And then you start realizing the number of things being built on it, the applications, the number of developers involved, and the speed of the increase of the number of users. So there's a lot of interconnections plus a lot of users. That was going to become very valuable. So then add a chart onto that again. Chart of Ethereum looked like it was going to break out, and that gave me everything I needed.
And how are those charts looking now?
Well, they continue to show that, even Ethereum has been having more volume in certain days than Bitcoin has. The wallet address growth is faster than Bitcoin. In every way, it's outperforming Bitcoin, except in market cap. I think we call it the flippening when Ethereum is larger than the market cap of Bitcoin. That's nothing to say that I don't believe in Bitcoin. Mm-hmm. Bitcoin is a different thing to Ethereum. Many hardcore Bitcoin believers think that all applications will be built on the Bitcoin blockchain. But I think that's more a hope than a reality. The reality is many different ecosystems will get traction for different things. And Ethereum right now has DeFi, NFTs, social tokens, all on it. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't have to be money. The next part of the equation comes with the introduction of the EIC 1559 token, which essentially lowers the supply of Ethereum by burning Ethereum. And then there's the ETH 2.0, where we move to proof of stake, which again, will lower the gas fees, but also will lower supply even further. So it becomes a super scarce asset with massive use. So probability is it's going to do pretty well.
Okay, and then I'm really interested in kind of how you're looking at all these applications that you've mentioned that are being built on ETH, DeFi, NFTs, social tokens. Are you investing in these, testing them, playing with them? Like, what's kind of your experience with these applications been like?
So DeFi, I've invested in some of the protocols, but I have not used DeFi. I'm not really a yield guy. I don't really care about yield. Macro guys tend to be price appreciation people. So I tend to look for those opportunities more than I look for yield. And I don't think we yet understand the full risks in DeFi, which protocols are going to work, which ones are better, which ones aren't. But I've invested in some equally weighted basket of a bunch of them just to have exposure, just so I get understanding. And then with social tokens, NFTs, I've invested in some of the NFT platforms, but the social tokens, there's not many of them around, but I've invested in those too, more significantly, because I think they are, maybe not even for this cycle, but I think they're going to be a huge part of the global business model going forwards, when businesses start coalescing around communities and how communities can drive their own value system by using tokens and network effects to increase the size of it. So I'm really excited about where this is all going.
It's so interesting to hear you, like a global macro investor with like a long track record in traditional finance and like Goldman Sacks. And like investing in social tokens, which is like such a new and like almost like fringe part of crypto. So I'd love to just like hear more of your thoughts on like how, like you have this like whole framework to value ETH and Bitcoin. So like, what do you use to value social tokens?
Networks. It's all the same. Everything is the same trick.
Right.
So let's say you are Disney. How many fans does Disney have? What is their community? If they were to bring them together as a community, I would guess 1 billion people, maybe 2, maybe 3. Okay, so there's 3 billion people who love Disney, parts of Disney. And they will consume Disney in a number of different ways. So why not? How does Disney access their fans right now? They have to rent them back off Facebook, YouTube, Google, Apple Music, Apple TV, Spotify. They have to rent them back and pay away economics.
By that, do you mean that they advertise through these platforms to get them to like go to their parks and watch their movies? And
exactly, because they don't have a direct relationship with their fans. Mm-hmm. The only point that they ever do is when they walk into the Disney store or walk into the theme park. But what tokens do is give them direct access to those fans, because you now have a relationship where that token is the currency of the Disney world. So I can buy things, and if I happen to be a currency owner, I can get things at a discount. I can get certain access. I might get to see the film a week early. I get so many benefits that I value as a fan. And I might get Disney Plus at a discount. And if I renew my Disney Plus every year, maybe I get more tokens, and maybe I can build a business of selling Disney t-shirts and I charge them in Disney tokens, and people start building businesses. So you build a whole economy around Disney, of which there is one already. It's huge, giant. But what's the difference here is, as a token holder, I now share in the economic benefits of that community. So if the community becomes more valuable, then I make more money. My token goes up. It's an asset. So culture becomes an asset that you can invest in. This is game changing. Think of a world of TikTok, of influencers, of songs that come out now on social media. They're not driven by Spotify. They come out on TikTok. Now, what happens if you could invest in the IP rights of that song, of your favorite artist, and then make your own TikTok videos to try and drive its virality? You're helping the artist create network effects. Same with a new Disney film. So you're creating this new GDP, this new value system out of nowhere, where you are fully aligned with that brand, influencer, musician, sports star, whoever it is. That's really big. And once you think that through, you realize, okay, well, where are the big tech players in all of this? Do they understand it yet? And it's very simple. It's in front of our eyes. It's Facebook DM. They've created, not only is it a stable coin to allow global commerce on their platform of the biggest network on earth, 3.5 billion people, but it's basically a token for the Facebook economy with 3.5 billion people. What is that going to be worth? Who's going to build what on that? This is huge. And if they do it, well, probably YouTube has to do it, and Spotify will do it, and Apple will do it. So it's coming. People just can't see it yet. People only look at today and say, well, NFTs are about art and social tokens are for small YouTube influencers. This is just the start of where this is going.
So how do you think tokens, social tokens being created by, people in the Ethereum community, artists, how will those interact with tokens that you think huge media and tech companies will issue?
We don't know yet. Some will stay within that community and won't trade externally. If you're a small DJ and you've got your community of 50,000 true fans, well, those tokens are not going to be worth value outside of your fans. But to your fans, they are, so they'll stay within your community. And maybe they're worth $5 million of extra value that you didn't have before. And that's very interesting. But others, once they become big, become tradable assets. Wait till all the football clubs, Chili's has done some of this, but they've only just started in creating the token economies. Imagine how big that's going to be, because basically you can play a part in your club, but you can also bet on, one club versus another over long-term time horizons. Because, you can say, well, I think Manchester United is going to be better than Man City over the next 5 years, and you can be long one, short the other. I mean, the use cases become enormous, and there will be this transferability amongst different ecosystems over time. But they have to be of a certain size to have value for different people. Or, maybe I don't like Disney, but I can understand the value of a Disney coin. I'm going to own it anyway, because of course that's going to go up. Of course that's going to be worth literally tens of, if not hundreds of billions of dollars.